October 16th, Current Affairs. 1. Antibiotic resistance threatening post-surgery recovery. This topic will be important from exam point of view under General Studies Paper 3. Science and Technology, Developments and their applications and effects in everyday life. Why recently in news? A new study has quantified the threat of rising antibiotic resistance on surgery and chemotherapy. New estimates suggest that up to half of infections after surgery and over a quarter of infections after chemotherapy are caused by organisms already resistant to standard prophylactic antibiotics. Bacterial resistance to commonly prescribed antibiotics is increasing at an alarming pace. What is antibiotic resistance? Antibiotics are drugs used for treating infections caused by bacteria. Also known as antimicrobial drugs, antibiotics have saved countless lives. Misuse and overuse of these drugs, however, have contributed to a phenomenon known as antibiotic resistance. This resistance develops when potentially harmful bacteria change in a way that reduces or eliminates the effectiveness of antibiotics. Antibiotics fight bacteria, not viruses. What happens if antibiotics are used against viral infections? Will not cure the infection. Will not keep other individuals from catching the virus. Will not help a person feel better. May cause unnecessary, harmful side effects. May contribute to the development of antibiotic-resistant bacteria. How to use antibiotics when prescribed. Complete the full course of the drug. It's important to take all of the medication, even if you are feeling better. If treatment stops too soon, the drug may not kill all the bacteria. You may become sick again, and the remaining bacteria may become resistant to the antibiotic that you've taken. Do not skip doses. Antibiotics are most effective when they are taken regularly. Do not save antibiotics. You might think that you can save an antibiotic for the next time you get sick. But an antibiotic is meant for your particular infection at the time. Never take leftover medicine. Taking the wrong medicine can delay getting the appropriate treatment and may allow your condition to worsen. Do not take antibiotics prescribed for someone else. These may not be appropriate for your illness, may delay correct treatment, and may allow your condition to worsen. Talk with your healthcare professional. Ask questions, especially if you are uncertain about when an antibiotic is appropriate or how to take it. What Food and Drug Administration, FDA, is doing. FDA, combating antibiotic resistance through activities that include labeling regulations addressing proper use of antibiotics, partnering to promote public awareness, encouraging the development of new antibiotics. FDA has teamed up with the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, and other healthcare professional, government, academic, international and industry partners to support. Get Smart About Antibiotics Week as part of a joint effort to encourage the appropriate use of antibiotics. 2. Gujarat, the capital of Greater and Lesser Flamingos. This topic will be important from exam point of view under General Studies Paper 3. Environment and Conservation. Flamingo City, in the Rann of Kutch in Gujarat, is one of the few and biggest breeding sites of the flamingo in the world. It is the ancient excavated city of De Lavieiro from the Harappan civilization. Greater flamingos come here, every year in batches in the months of August, September, and October. After breeding, they leave by March to April along with their grown-up chicks. In winter, the Great Rann of Kutch becomes the breeding ground for flamingos and pelicans. The Rann of Kutch is also worth visiting for the local people who have preserved their customs and traditions. There are not enough planktons in the waters of Rann for the birds to survive. Hence the second batch of flamingos has left, leaving its young ones to fend for themselves. The right mix of brackish and sweet water is crucial for the survival of the planktons, algae and fish that flamingos feed on, but after the construction of dams on the rivers flowing into the Rann, this balance is disturbed. The Gujarat Forest Department sent a team to the island but could not come up with any effective solution. It hopes that some algae, which forms part of flamingos' food, still present in the water, may save some chicks. About greater flamingo. The greater flamingo, Phoenicopterus roseus, is the most widespread species of the flamingo family. It is found in parts of Africa, southern Asia, Bangladesh and coastal regions of Pakistan and India, the Middle East, Cyprus, Israel, and southern Europe, including Spain, Albania, Greece, Turkey, Portugal, Italy and the Camargue region of France. Some populations are short-distance migrants, and sightings north of the breeding range are relatively frequent. However, given the species' popularity in captivity, 3. Use of adder to help in financial inclusion. Regin. This topic will be important from exam point of view under General Studies Paper 3. Indian Economy and Issues Relating to Planning. Why recently in news? RBI Governor Raghuram Rajan on Thursday welcomed Supreme Court ruling on use of Aadhaar card in more schemes, and said it will help in financial inclusion drive and providing easy access to loans. What is financial inclusion? Financial inclusion is delivery of banking services at an affordable cost, no frills accounts, to the vast sections of disadvantaged and low-income group. Unrestrained access to public goods and services is the sine qua non of an open and efficient society. As banking services are in the nature of public good, it is essential that availability of banking and payment services to the entire population without discrimination is the prime objective of the public policy. Areas of concern by banks in the direction of financial inclusion. The banking industry has shown tremendous growth in volume and complexity during the last few decades. Despite making significant improvements in all the areas relating to financial viability, profitability and competitiveness, there are concerns that banks have not been able to reach and bring vast segment of the population, especially the underprivileged sections of the society, into the fold of basic banking services. Internationally also efforts are being made to study the causes of financial exclusion and design strategies to ensure financial inclusion of the poor and disadvantaged. The reasons may vary from country to country, and so also the strategy, but all-out efforts are needed as financial inclusion can truly lift the standard of life of the poor and the disadvantaged. RBI's policy on financial inclusion. When bankers do not give the desired attention to certain areas, the regulators have to step in to remedy the situation. This is the reason why the Reserve Bank of India places a lot of emphasis on financial inclusion, with a view to enhancing the financial inclusion as a proactive measure. The RBI, in its annual policy statement of the year 2005 to 2006, while recognizing the concerns in regard to the banking practices that tend to exclude rather than attract vast sections of population, urged banks to review their existing practices to align them with the objective of financial inclusion. No frills account. In the mid-term review of the policy, 2005-06, RBI exhorted the banks, with a view to achieving greater financial inclusion, to make available a basic banking no-frills account either with nil or very minimum balances, as well as charges that would make such accounts accessible to vast sections of the population. The nature and number of transactions in such accounts would be restricted and made known to customers in advance in a transparent manner. All banks are urged to give wide publicity to the facility of such no-frills account, so as to ensure greater financial inclusion. Simplification of Know Your Customer (KYC) norms. Banks are required to provide a choice of a no-frills account, where the minimum balance is nil or very small but having restrictions on number of withdrawals, etc., to facilitate easy access to bank accounts. Further, in order to ensure that persons belonging to low-income group both in urban and rural areas do not face difficulty in opening the bank accounts due to the procedural hassles, the KYC procedure for opening accounts for those persons who intend to keep balances not exceeding rupees 50,000, Rs 50,000, in all their accounts taken together, and the total credit in all the accounts taken together is not expected to exceed rupees 1 lakh. Rs 1,00,000 in a year has been simplified to enable those belonging to low-income groups without documents of identity and proof of residence to open banks accounts. 4. 125-million-year-old mammal fossil discovered in Spain. This topic will be important from exam point of view under General Studies Paper 3. Science and Technology Developments and Their Applications and Effects in Everyday Life. Scientists have found fossilized remains of a 125-million-year-old rat-sized mammal in Spain, pushing back the earliest record of preserved mammalian hair structures and inner organs by more than 60 million years. The microscopic structures of hair and spines in the specimen, named Spinolstes cyanothrossus, are the earliest known examples in mammalian evolutionary history. Spinolstes cyanothrossus lived in the Cretaceous period and belonged to an extinct lineage of early mammals known as triconodonts. The specimen measured roughly 24 centimeters in length and is estimated to have weighed around 50 to 70 grams, about the size of a modern-day juvenile rat. Its teeth and discernible microscopic structures were preserved through a rare process known as phosphatic fossilization. Individual hair follicles and bulbs, as well as the composition of individual hair shafts, could be identified using an electron scanning microscope. It had small spines around 1/10 of a millimeter in diameter on its back, similar to modern hedgehogs and African spiny mice, which appeared to be formed by the fusion of filaments at follicles during development. 6. Supreme Court declares NJAC unconstitutional. This topic will be important from exam point of view under General Studies Paper 2. Indian Constitution and Judiciary. Why recently in news? Supreme Court has declared National Judicial Appointments Commission (NJAC) Act 2014 and 99th Constitutional Amendment Act 2014 unconstitutional and void. Ruling in this regard was given by five-judge constitutional bench of SC headed by Justice J.S. Khair on a petition were filed by Supreme Court Advocates on Record Association, SCAORA, and others. SC bench has held that collegium system will remain operative, which was established by its earlier ruling of in 1993 for the appointment of judges to the higher judiciary. The petitions had challenged the new law on the selection and appointment of judges, mentioning that it is unconstitutional and aimed at hurting the independence of judiciary. Background: the Parliament had unanimously passed the NJAC Act 2014 and the 99th Constitutional Amendment Act. Both acts were meant to replace the two-decade-old collegium system of judges appointing judges in higher judiciary. These acts were passed in order to bring transparency in appointment of judges and give executive, that is, elected public representatives, a role in the appointment process. The Constitutional Amendment Act was then ratified by 20 state assemblies and had received the presidential assent on the 31st of December 2014 and became effective from April 2015. The NJAC was supposed to have 6 members, 3 from judiciary comprising Chief Justice of India, CJI, as its chairperson and ex officio member, and 2 other senior-most judges of SC, while other 3 members were Union Minister of Law and Justice, ex officio, and 2 eminent persons. 7. DRDO's missile complex in Hyderabad renamed after Abdul Kalam. This topic will be important from exam point of view under General Studies Paper 3. Planetary and Space Sciences. Defense Research Development Organizations, DRDO's missile complex in Hyderabad has been renamed as Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam Missile Complex. It was renamed after late President and missile man APJ Abdul Kalam. On the occasion of his 84th birth anniversary in a ceremony presided by Union Defense Minister Manohar Parrikar. The function was held at the Research Center Imarat, RCI. Dr. Kalam was RCI's founder director and had steered it as a generator of critical missile technologies. The Hyderabad Missile Complex is considered to be the brainchild of Dr. Kalam. It comprises Advanced Systems Laboratory, ASL, Defense Research and Development Laboratory, DRDL, and Research Center Imarat. Dr. Kalam had joined Missile Complex in 1982 and was a part of it for nearly 2 decades. He was the 11th President of India and was in office from 2002 to 2007. During his stint as president, he was popularly known as the People's President. He is recipient of India's highest civilian award, Bharat Ratna.